Thank you very much, Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, colleagues and friends. Dealing with these issues of HHS, I feel a little comfortable and possibly a little unworthy to speak on this issue because I've been blessed my whole life. I've had a livable wage job and I've always had health insurance, and we're looking at voting up or down whether or not 70,000 people are going to get it, whether they be veterans or whether they be working people or whether they be the working poor. I'd like to start off, first of all, as I actually come from what I consider a fairly poor county, county of Oxford, which I share with my junior senator from Oxford, Senator Hamper. And I'd like to start off with a story that I was given. I had many within my own district, but I have one just across the district line from mine, a lady from Freiburg. And she says, I'm a 61-year-old and I moved to Freiburg in 1996 to live and care for my younger sister. My sister suffered a severe brain injury in 1981 when the car she was driving was struck. My sister was in a coma for 8 weeks and we were told that she would be a vegetable. She isn't, but she can't live alone for many reasons. My sister and I live in the family home in Freiburg that we co-own. I have worked my whole life from the time I was 13. Here in Freiburg, I was unable to find work in my chosen career, so I got a job as a sales clerk part-time because working full-time wasn't possible given my sister's situation. The job doesn't offer health insurance, and I don't have enough income to qualify for a subsidy. I was on main care, but lost it in December. I promised my father that I would take care of my sister, and I have kept that promise. At my age, I'm terrified not to have insurance. I live in fear of falling or getting some illness. At my last doctor's visit in December, my blood pressure was elevated. I'm doing what I can to stay healthy, and I hope those things don't get worse. I can't afford to follow up, and if the doctor wanted to prescribe something, I couldn't afford it anyways. I'm not willing to risk our home in to my medical bills. I pray things change. Ladies and gentlemen, I too have campaigned thousands and thousands of doors. Over my career, I probably hit over 50 or 60,000 doors. And at least 7,000 or 8,000 my first campaign for the Maine Senate. And in Oxford, we have 3,810 people eligible for Maine Care. If we did math and just divided it in half, I would be responsible for 1,905 constituents. Now, ladies and gentlemen, one thing I know is I'm going to have to go to those doors. I've met those people. In my district, there's people without electricity. There's actually some people without inside plumbing. I was amazed when I found them. I've seen an awful lot of proud people, and I know they're all over the state of Maine. They want to go to work if they can find a job. They'd love to maintain their health. So many live in abstract squalor that I'm ashamed to even say I'm debating as to whether or not I'm going to give someone the opportunity to get health care. They're out there in every avenue in the state of Maine. You get off the Maine Turnpike, and what do you find? You find people that aren't doing all that well. We talked about wanting to go to work. I live in Oxford County, and when I graduated from high school in 1972, I had the opportunity to choose one of 5 employers that were businesses, factories around my area. And in Oxford County, it was booming. We had tanneries, canneries, shoe shops, dowel mills, paper mills, bag mills. We had it all. And lo and behold, about 50 to 54 of them were out of business. And I'll tell you, them proud people of Oxford County and the proud people of the state of Maine want to go to work. And for other reasons, They don't want to have to travel 200 miles to go to New Hampshire or go to somewhere else in the state of Maine. It's not even practical. They've lived their whole lives here. They're proud people. Let's talk about the numbers. We're talking 70,000 people statewide. What is that number? Otherwise than the human beings that we've already brought forward? Well, that's 11 to 11 and a half times the population of Rumford. Or another way, that's 1.5 to 2 times the whole size of Oxford County. People that's going to have the opportunity to have health care. You put it in that perspective, I cannot imagine going through the whole area of Oxford County twice and saying that those people are finally going to get health care. We talk about priorities, and I'm thankful for that. One of the things I'm looking at is our values. We know people are going to die if they don't have health care. I've got a picture of my grandson, who I love immensely. I love my wife, and I love my family. I love my neighbors, and I love my friends. And I ask you, my friends, what is the value of a life? What is the value of 50 lives? If we don't pass this, there will be immense, ongoing cost in the health of our citizens of the state of Maine. There will be ongoing cost of lives in the state of Maine. Let's be realistic, ladies and gentlemen. We do a lot of crazy things here in the legislature at times, and we've all seen the ups and downs. And we do know about the national economy. I've talked on it myself several times. But we're not talking about the national economy. We're talking about potentially people's lives. This could be the gateway for them to finally get out of the situation that they're in. I don't know how many people that I've had said, I wished I had health care. And boy, I have to choke back to say to myself, I do have it. And I did have a friend of mine who gave a speech, talked about he probably wouldn't be here if he didn't have health care. And it came on the citizens' dime. I hope, ladies and gentlemen, we're done. The right thing happens here. I hope we get more than 24, because it's important to tell the citizens of the state of Maine. I do agree 61% of the people of the state of Maine do believe this is an important thing to do. And I'd ask you to support this bill, LD 1487. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.